The siren cuts through the darkness at exactly 2:47 in the morning. Heinrich Vogel knows this sound. Every Berliner knows this sound. The rising wail that means you have 12 minutes, maybe 15 if you are lucky, to reach the shelter before the bombs fall. He is already moving before his mind catches up, feet hitting cold floorboards, hands reaching for his daughter's bed in the next room. His fingers find empty sheets. She is not there. The window explodes inward. Not from a bomb, not yet, but from the pressure wave of the first explosions 3 streets over. Glass sprays across the small apartment. Heinrich drops to his knees. His ears ring. The siren continues its mechanical scream. Greta. His voice is swallowed by the noise. Greta. The building shudders. Plaster dust falls like snow. Through the broken window, he sees the sky orange and yellow and red. The Neukölln district is burning. Again. Heinrich crawls to the doorway, checks the hall. Empty. The other tenants are already in the cellar. Frau Müller with her twins. Old Herr Kessler, who survived the First War. The Rosenthal family, who are not legally allowed to use the shelter anymore, but everyone pretends not to notice. But no Greta. No 13-year-old girl with her mother's dark eyes and her father's stubborn chin. The next explosion is closer. The entire building tilts. For a moment, just one terrible moment, Heinrich thinks it will collapse. But it settles, groans, holds. He has a choice. He has maybe 8 minutes now, 8 minutes to search, 8 minutes before the main bomber stream arrives and turns this entire block into an inferno. Or he can save himself. Go to the shelter, survive to search tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow, if the building is still standing. Heinrich runs for the stairs, not down, up, the roof. She might have gone to the roof. She does that, sometimes watches the night sky, the searchlights, the distant fires. He has told her 1,000 times not to, but Greta is 13, and her mother is dead, and the world is ending one night at a time, and Heinrich cannot control everything. The stairwell is dark. The electricity died 3 days ago and has not returned. Heinrich knows these stairs. 42 steps to the roof access. He counts them by feel, by memory. 23, 24, 25. Another explosion. This one so close that the concussion throws him against the wall. His shoulder hits brick. Pain shoots down his arm, but he keeps climbing. 39, 40, 41, 42. The roof door is stuck. Swollen from recent rain, Heinrich slams his good shoulder against it once, twice, 3 times. It bursts open. The roof is empty. Berlin spreads before him, a city on fire. To the east, the industrial sectors burn. To the west, residential blocks collapse in slow motion. To the south, the rail yards explode in sequential detonations as fuel tanks ignite. The sky pulses with anti-aircraft fire. Searchlights sweep in frantic arcs. And above it all, higher than the smoke, higher than the flames, the bombers drone past in their steady formations, untouchable, unstoppable, inevitable. Heinrich stands alone on the roof and screams his daughter's name into the burning night. No answer comes. The all-clear will not sound for another 2 hours. When it does, Heinrich will climb down from this roof. He will search the shelter. He will find Greta is not there. He will search the neighborhood. He will find nothing. And then, because he is Heinrich Vogel, and he is a machinist 3rd class at the Borsig locomotive works, and the Reich needs its locomotives, and the factory does not care if your daughter is missing, he will report for his shift at 6 in the morning. Because what else can he do? This is November 17th, 1943. This is Berlin. This is survival. This is the beginning of the longest day of Heinrich Vogel's life. 4 hours earlier, before the bombs, before the fire, before everything changed. Heinrich wakes at 4 in the morning because he always wakes at 4 in the morning. No alarm needed. His body knows. After 18 months of the early shift, his body knows everything. The apartment is cold. It is always cold now. The coal ration ran out 5 days ago. The next allotment does not come until Monday. It is Wednesday. He lies still for a moment, listens. Greta's breathing in the next room steady, peaceful, the sound that tells him she is safe, the sound that makes everything else bearable. Outside, Berlin is quiet, the kind of quiet that only exists in the hours before dawn, before the trams start running, before the city wakes to face another day of war. Heinrich rises, his joints protest. 41 years old, but he feels 60. The work does that. 10-hour shifts, 6 days a week, lifting, bending, operating machinery that was not designed for human endurance. But the Reich needs locomotives. The Eastern Front needs supply trains. The economy needs functioning railroads. So Heinrich operates the metal lathe on production line 7, and his back hurts, and his hands shake sometimes. And none of that matters. He dresses in the dark, work trousers patched at both knees, threadbare at the seat, gray shirt, suspenders, heavy boots that used to belong to Greta's uncle before he died at Stalingrad. Everything smells of machine oil and metal shavings. He washes his clothes every Sunday, but the smell never comes out. The kitchen is 3 steps from the bedroom. The entire apartment is 8 meters by 6 meters, one room partitioned with a curtain, a kitchen that is barely a kitchen, a toilet shared with 3 other apartments on this floor. This is what a machinist third class can afford in Berlin in 1943. Before the war, Heinrich had a 2-bedroom apartment in Wedding. Before the war, his wife was alive. Before the war, Greta had her own room with yellow curtains and a shelf full of books. Before the war is a foreign country that Heinrich tries not to visit too often. He lights the small spirit stove, waits for the flame to settle, fills the dented pot with water from the bucket fetched yesterday, from the communal pump 2 streets over, because the building's pipes burst last month and no one is coming to fix them. The water takes 6 minutes to boil. Heinrich has timed it. While he waits, he checks his ration cards, laid out on the narrow counter like playing cards. 1 bread card, stamped for the week, already used Monday and Tuesday, 5 days left. 1 card for fats unused, worth 50 grams of margarine, if the shop has margarine. 1 meat card also unused, because there has been no meat for 3 weeks. 1 card for coffee substitute. 1 card for vegetables. And Greta's cards, slightly different, youth rations, supposedly larger portions, in practice the same as everyone else. Heinrich does the math he does every morning, 250 grams of bread per day between them, 50 grams of margarine per week, vegetables when available, the coffee substitute that tastes like burnt acorns because it is burnt acorns, maybe, if he is lucky, some turnips, always turnips. Before the war, Heinrich weighed 82 kilograms. Now he weighs 68. Greta has stopped growing. Not enough protein, not enough fat, not enough anything. The water boils. Heinrich spoons the ersatz coffee into his cup. 1 spoon, not 2. He has learned to make it last. The liquid is brown. It is hot. It is not coffee. He drinks it anyway. Through the thin wall, he hears Frau Müller's baby crying. The sound is thin, reedy, hungry. It cries often. Heinrich tries not to think about why. He cuts 2 slices from the dark rye loaf, each slice exactly 20 millimeters thick. He has trained himself to eyeball the measurement. Too thick means running out before Friday. Too thin means working a 10-hour shift on an empty stomach. 20 millimeters is the compromise between now and later, between hunger and starvation. 1 slice for now, 1 for the midday break at the factory. He spreads a scraping of margarine on the first slice, so thin he can almost see through it, eats slowly, makes it last. The bread is dense, gritty. There is sawdust mixed in, he can taste it, and probably potato flour to stretch the grain. But it is bread, it is food, it is staying alive. Through the curtain, Heinrich hears Greta stir, hears her wake, hears her lie still that moment every morning when she remembers where she is, what the world is, that her mother is dead, and her father works in a factory, and the war is everywhere and nowhere at once. Papa, her voice is small. I am here. Heinrich keeps his voice steady, normal, as if this is a normal morning in a normal world. Go back to sleep. You have 2 more hours. Is there bread? There will be bread for breakfast, I promise. Greta does not answer, but Heinrich hears her settle, hears her breathing even out. She trusts him. She trusts that there will be bread, that he will provide, that somehow he will keep making the impossible mathematics of survival work. Heinrich finishes his coffee substitute, rinses the cup, sets it to dry. Every movement is ritual, every action practiced. This is how you survive. You create routines, you follow them, you do not think too hard about tomorrow. He checks his papers. Identity card, work permit, party membership card. He is not actually a party member, but everyone carries the card anyway because not carrying it raises questions. Ration cards tucked safely in his inner pocket, everything in order. The clock on the wall stopped at 9:15, since the last bombing is useless. But Heinrich knows the time, 4:37. He knows because his body knows, because the rhythm of the shift has become the rhythm of his life. Time to leave. He pauses at the curtain, listens to Greta breathing, wants to wake her, wants to see her face, wants to hold her and tell her it will be all right. But he does not wake her. Sleep is precious. Let her have these 2 hours. Let her dream, if children still dream in cities like this. Heinrich collects his cap, his scarf, his identification papers, steps into the hallway, locks the door, though there is nothing worth stealing, and locks mean nothing when buildings collapse. Frau Muller's baby is still crying. The sound follows him down the stairs. Outside, Berlin waits. The street is dark. The streetlights have not worked since August. Blackout regulations. Enemy bombers above. Every window must be covered. Every light must be hidden. Berlin has become a city of shadows. Heinrich walks north, knows the route by feel. 1,400 meters from his apartment to the factory gates, 23 minutes at his usual pace. He has walked this route 642 times. He has counted. The November air is sharp, cuts through his thin jacket. His breath makes clouds. Frost glitters on the broken cobblestones. Heinrich walks carefully. A twisted ankle means missing work. Missing work means questions. Questions mean trouble. Other figures move in the darkness. Other workers. Other early shift people who rise before the sun because the factories never stop. The war never sleeps. Production never slows. No one speaks. Speaking wastes energy. Energy is precious. Heinrich passes the bombed-out shell of what used to be a bakery. 3 weeks ago, Direct hit. The baker and his wife and their 2 sons, gone. Just gone. Now the building is a hollow tooth in the street's smile. One wall still standing. The rest is rubble. Someone has already salvaged the bricks, stacked them neatly. Even in destruction, Berlin is efficient. 2 blocks ahead, the first checkpoint. Heinrich's stomach tightens. Checkpoints are random. Sometimes they wave you through. Sometimes they check everything. Sometimes they arrest people. You never know which it will be until you are there. 2 Gestapo officers, leather coats, polished boots. One is smoking, the other holds a flashlight. Papers, the one with the flashlight, young, maybe 25, Bavarian accent, cold eyes. Heinrich reaches slowly, removes his papers, hands them over, does not make eye contact. Eye contact is presumptuous. Eye contact raises questions. The flashlight beam sweeps across the documents. Identity card, work permit. The fake party membership card that Heinrich bought for 20 Reichsmarks 3 months ago from a printer who was arrested 2 months ago for exactly that. Borsig works. The officer's tone is neutral, gives nothing away. Yes, sir. Machinist 3rd class, production line 7, early shift, 6 until 4, sir, 6 days a week. The officer studies Heinrich's face. The flashlight is too bright. Heinrich forces himself not to squint, not to look away, to be empty, unremarkable, forgettable. What are you producing? Drive wheel assemblies, sir, for freight locomotives. This is the truth. This is his actual job. Heinrich relaxes slightly. When you tell the truth, your voice does not waver. The officer hands back the papers. Next, Heinrich walks, does not hurry. Hurrying suggests guilt. He counts 30 steps before allowing himself to breathe normally. The checkpoint disappears behind him, but there will be more. There are always more. 3 blocks further, the burned tram. It has been there since September, caught in an air raid, burned so hot that the metal melted, fused to the tracks. A monument to normal life interrupted. No one has removed it. Perhaps no one will. Children used to play on it during the day, climbing through the twisted frame, pretending it was a ship or a castle or a dragon. Then one of them cut themselves on the jagged metal. Bad cut, infected. The child died. No more children play on the burned tram. Heinrich walks past without looking. He has seen it too many times. The factory appears ahead. Massive, sprawling. The Borsig locomotive works one of the largest in Germany. Before the war, it employed 8,000 people. Now, maybe 5,000. The rest are dead or conscripted or fled or arrested, but the factory runs, always runs. The gates loom, iron, topped with barbed wire, guards with rifles, more checkpoints, more papers, more questions, but also warmth, heat from the furnaces, light from the work floors, purpose. Heinrich's back may hurt, and his hands may shake, and his daughter may be growing up in hell, but in the factory he has a role, a place, a reason. He joins the stream of workers flowing through the gates, hundreds of men, a few women, all moving with the same shuffling efficiency, all carrying the same exhaustion. The guard checks his papers. 3rd time this morning, waves him through. Heinrich crosses the threshold. The noise hits him the industrial symphony he knows so well, lathes screaming, hammers pounding, furnaces roaring, steam hissing, metal on metal on metal. The sound of production, the sound of war. He walks to the changing room, stores his jacket, pulls on his work coveralls stiff with old oil, collects his safety goggles, his gloves, checks the clock on the wall, 5:43. 17 minutes until shift start. Enough time to reach his station, to prepare his tools, to become, once again, a component in the machine. Heinrich walks onto the factory floor. Line 7 is already warming up. The night shift is finishing. Tired men with hollow eyes, men who have spent 10 hours shaping metal. Who will walk home through the dark? Who will sleep through the day? Who will return tonight to do it again? The foreman Kruger, thick-necked and perpetually angry, spots Heinrich, nods. This is approval. This is acknowledgement of punctuality. In the factory, punctuality is virtue. Heinrich reaches his station, his lathe, his territory for the next 10 hours. The machine is older than he is, built in 1927, refurbished twice, worn but functional. It has a rhythm he knows, a personality. On good days, it cooperates. On bad days, it fights him. Today will be a bad day. Heinrich can feel it. He begins his pre-shift routine, checks the cutting oil reservoir, inspects the tool bits, tests the feed mechanism. Everything must be perfect. A broken tool means stopping the line. Stopping the line means explaining to Kruger. Explaining to Kruger means trouble. The factory whistle blows, long and loud. 6 o'clock. The night shift stops. The day shift begins. The machines never pause. One set of hands replaces another. The locomotive drive wheels must be produced. The freight cars must roll. The war must be fed. Heinrich starts his lathe. The motor catches. The spindle begins to turn. Metal shavings start to fly. He has 312 pieces to complete today. 312 drive wheel hubs, each one machined to within 0.05 millimeters tolerance, each one inspected, each one counted toward the daily quota. 312 pieces in 10 hours, one piece every 192 seconds. Less time for breaks, less time for mistakes. Heinrich positions the first raw casting, locks it in place, brings the cutting tool to bear. The metal screams. This is his life now. This is November 17th, 1943. This is how Heinrich Vogel spends his days while the world burns around him. But he does not know, not yet, that today is different. Today, the bombs will come early. Today, Greta will vanish. Today, everything will shatter. For now, there is only the lathe, only the metal, only the next piece and the piece after that and the endless succession of pieces until the shift ends. If the shift ends, if the bombs allow it, if there is anything left to return to when the whistle finally blows, 2 hours into the shift, the first problem emerges. The tool bit cracks, a hairline fracture that Heinrich does not notice until it is too late. The cutting edge catches wrong. The piece number 63 of the day is ruined. Scrap. Heinrich stops the lathe, examines the damage. His stomach sinks. Scrap means waste. Waste means investigation. Investigation means quotas missed. Quotas missed mean reduced rations, or worse. Kruger appears as if summoned. The foreman moves through the factory floor like a shark through water drawn to problems by some invisible sense. Problem, Vogel? His voice cuts through the machine noise. Tool failure, sir. Hairline crack. I did not see it during inspection. Kruger picks up the ruined piece, turns it over. His expression does not change. This is somehow worse than anger. This is the second scrap piece from line 7 this week. Yes, sir. You understand what that means? Heinrich understands. It means his section is underperforming. It means attention from higher up. It means possibly losing the position to someone younger, someone hungrier, someone without a daughter to feed. I will make up the loss, Heinrich says. Extra speed on the remaining pieces. No more errors. Kruger drops the scrap piece into Heinrich's hand. You will make up the loss, and you will stay 2 hours after shift, unpaid, to compensate for wasted materials. 2 hours, unpaid, which means getting home at 6 instead of 4, which means being out after curfew begins, which means needing a special permit, which means complications. But Heinrich nods. Yes, sir. Kruger walks away. The conversation is over. The judgment has been passed. Heinrich replaces the tool bit, tests it, begins again. Piece 64. His hands are steadier than his thoughts. 2 hours after shift means Greta will be alone from 4 until 6. She is 13, old enough to manage. But the neighborhood is not safe. Bombings happen randomly. Criminal elements have increased desperate people doing desperate things, and the racial laws have made everyone paranoid. Anyone could be denounced. Anyone could be arrested. 2 hours. It should not matter this much. But everything matters when everything is fragile. Heinrich works faster, pushes the lathe to its limits. 1 piece every 170 seconds now, making up time, making up the loss. The metal screams louder, the shavings fly faster. His arms burn with the effort. Around him, the factory pulses with organized chaos. 300 workers on this floor alone, each one operating machinery, each one producing components, locomotive wheels, axles, couplings, frames, thousands of pieces that will eventually become the freight trains that supply the Eastern Front. The Eastern Front where Greta's uncle died, where hundreds of thousands have died, where the war is going badly, though no one says this out loud. The newspapers talk of strategic withdrawals and regrouping. The radio plays martial music and victory announcements, but the workers know. The casualty lists grow longer. The supply trains run east full and return west, empty or not at all. They are building machines to feed a war that is eating Germany alive. But this is not something you say in a factory in Berlin in 1943. At 8:30, the first bell rings. 15-minute break. The machines wind down. The workers step away. Some eat, some smoke, some just stand, swaying slightly, exhausted. Heinrich has no cigarettes. Cigarettes require ration cards he does not have. Instead, he eats half of his bread slice, the one he prepared this morning, chews slowly, makes it last. Across the factory floor, he sees Werner, old Werner who has worked at Borsig since before the First War, Werner who lost 3 sons in this war, Werner who keeps working because what else is there? Werner catches Heinrich's eye, nods slightly. This is factory friendship, no words needed, just acknowledgement. We are both here. We are both surviving. This is enough. The second problem arrives at 9:15. A runner, young woman, maybe 18, wearing the armband of the factory administration, appears at Heinrich's station. Vogel? Heinrich Vogel? Heinrich's heart stops. Runners mean messages. Messages mean news. News is never good. Yes? Foreman's office. Immediately. The machines around him suddenly seem very loud. Heinrich sets down his tools, wipes his hands on his coveralls, follows the runner. Kruger's office is a glass cage overlooking the factory floor. Inside, Kruger sits behind a metal desk, and standing next to him, a man Heinrich does not recognize. Civilian clothes, good quality, clean, not factory. Gestapo, has to be. Heinrich enters, stands, waits. Herr Vogel. The stranger speaks first. His voice is cultured, Berlin accent. I am Hauptsturmführer Roth, Geheime Staatspolizei, Gestapo. As expected, I need to ask you some questions about your neighbor. Not about Heinrich, about a neighbor. The relief is so intense, Heinrich almost stumbles. Of course, sir. However, I can help. Frau Müller, apartment 3B. You live in 3A, correct? Yes, sir. How well do you know her? Heinrich chooses his words carefully. We share a floor. We greet each other. She is a young mother. Her husband is in France with the Wehrmacht. I know little else. This is mostly true. What Heinrich does not say, Frau Müller's husband is not in France. He deserted 6 months ago. The letters she receives are forged. She pays a printer to fake them. Half the building knows. No one speaks of it. Has she expressed any defeatist sentiments? Anti-state opinions? No, sir. She speaks very little. She cares for her twins, nothing more. Roth studies Heinrich's face, looking for lies, for hesitation. Heinrich keeps his expression neutral, empty. He has practice. If you hear anything concerning, you will report it? Of course, sir. You understand the penalties for harboring information about state enemies? Yes, sir. Roth holds Heinrich's gaze for 3 more seconds, then nods. Return to your station. Heinrich leaves. His legs are weak. His hands shake. He makes it to the bathroom before the shaking becomes visible. In the narrow stall, Heinrich leans against the cold tile, breathes. The interrogation was nothing. Routine. But even routine interrogations mean someone is watching. Someone is asking questions. Someone is compiling files. Frau Müller is in danger. Her twins are in danger. And if Heinrich had said the wrong thing, if he had hesitated wrong or looked away wrong, or given any indication that he knew more than he admitted, his family would be in danger too. This is the arithmetic of survival. Everyone watches everyone. Everyone informs on everyone. Trust is suicide. Silence is survival. Heinrich splashes water on his face, returns to his station. The lathe is waiting. 11 o'clock. The morning stretches like broken glass. Noon. The lunch bell rings. 30 minutes. The machines stop. The factory exhales. Heinrich unwraps his second slice of bread, the one he saved. It is dry now. The margarine has soaked through, leaving dark stains. He eats it anyway. Around him, other workers produce their meager rations. Bread, thin soup from thermoses. Occasionally, someone has sausage, real sausage, and everyone pretends not to notice. Black market. Forbidden. But hunger makes rules flexible. Werner sits on an overturned crate nearby, produces a small flask, takes a drink, offers it to Heinrich. Schnapps? Heinrich accepts, takes a small sip. The alcohol burns, warms, helps. You heard about Zehlendorf? Werner's voice is quiet. No. Bombed last night. Heavy. Residential district. They are saying 500 dead, maybe more. 500. Heinrich tries to imagine 500 people. Fails. Numbers that large stop being people, become statistics, become numbers in newspapers, become abstract. East or west? Zehlendorf? West, I think. Near the lake. Not Heinrich's district, not Neukölln, but close enough. The bombers range farther every week. No district is safe now. They will hit us eventually. Werner continues. The factory. We are too big, too important. They know we are here. This is true. Everyone knows this. The Borsig works is a prime military target. Locomotives for the Wehrmacht, components for tanks, war production. The British know it is here. The Americans know it is here. It is only a matter of time. But what can you do? Stop working? That is sabotage. Sabotage is execution. Refuse to come? That is desertion. Desertion is execution. Tell the Allies where to bomb. That is treason. Treason is worse than execution. So you work. You produce locomotives. You hope that today is not the day the bombs fall here. My daughter, Heinrich says suddenly, does not know why he is speaking. She is 13, smart, reads constantly. Before the war, she wanted to be a teacher. Werner nods. Understanding. Before the war is everyone's lament. She needs more food, Heinrich continues. The rations are not enough. She is growing, or should be growing, but she is too thin. I can see her ribs when she bathes. Black market? Werner suggests. With what money? I make 70 Reichsmarks per week. After rent, after utilities, after mandatory party contributions, I have maybe 10 marks left. The black market wants 20 marks for a single chicken, 50 marks for real butter. Werner drinks again, says nothing. There is nothing to say. This is the reality. Wages are fixed, prices climb, legal rations shrink, the black market thrives, and ordinary people starve slowly while the party officials eat well. I could steal, Heinrich says. Does not mean to say it. The words escape. Werner's expression does not change. Steal what? Components, small things, fasteners, bearings, nothing that would be missed. Sell them. Use the money for food. You would be shot. I know. Within a day of discovery, maybe faster. I know. They sit in silence. The factory ticks as it cools. Somewhere in the distance, an air raid siren tests, a long wail that fades. Do not steal, Werner says finally. They are watching, always watching. Kruger reports everything. The quotas are calculated exactly. Any shortage is investigated. They will catch you. Heinrich knows this, has always known this, but knowing and accepting are different things. Then, what do I do? Werner hands him the flask again. You survive. Day by day, piece by piece, until the war ends. And if we lose? This is the unspoken question. The forbidden thought. Germany is losing. Everyone knows. The Eastern Front is collapsing. The Allies control the Mediterranean. North Africa is lost. Italy has surrendered. The bombers come every night now, every single night. Werner looks at Heinrich. Old eyes, tired eyes, eyes that have seen too much. Then, at least the bombs will stop. The lunch bell rings. 30 minutes over. The machines start again. 2:17 in the afternoon. Heinrich is on piece 283. Ahead of schedule despite the morning scrap. His arms ache, his eyes burn, but he is ahead. Then the sirens start. Not the distant test, not the warning from another district. The sirens directly above the factory. The sirens that mean the bombers are here, now. The machines stop. Every lathe, every drill press, every furnace, thousands of horsepower falling silent in seconds. The workers freeze. For one heartbeat, no one moves. Then chaos. 300 people running for the shelters, pushing, shoving. The factory has 4 reinforced bunkers. They can hold maybe 1,000 people total. The factory employs 5,000. The mathematics are simple. The mathematics are terrible. Heinrich runs. Not toward the main shelters, where the crowd is thickest. Toward the auxiliary shelter near the eastern wall, smaller, farther, but less crowded. Behind him, the first bombs fall. The sound is everything. A descending whistle that gets louder and louder until your ears hurt and your chest hurts, and your entire body braces for impact. The explosion lifts Heinrich off his feet, throws him forward. He hits concrete, rolls, comes up running. The factory is hit. The western section, the foundry, takes a direct strike. The roof disappears, walls crumble, fire erupts. The heat is visible from 300 meters away. People are screaming. Some are burning. Some are buried. Some are just screaming. Heinrich reaches the auxiliary shelter. The door is already crowded, workers pushing through. The shelter was designed for 80 people. There are already more than that trying to enter. Another whistle. Another bomb. Closer. The explosion is a physical force. It picks up a delivery truck and flips it. The truck crushes 3 people. Their screams stop. Heinrich makes it through the door, down the concrete steps, into the shelter. It is packed. Bodies pressed together. Darkness. The single emergency light is barely enough to see. The air is already thick, hot. Smells of fear and sweat and urine. The bombs continue. Each impact shakes the shelter. Dust falls from the ceiling. The lights flicker. Someone is praying. Someone is crying. Most are silent, breathing shallow, waiting. Heinrich counts the seconds between explosions, tries to estimate how many bombers, how many bombs, how long this will last. He thinks of Greta, alone in the apartment. Is she in the building shelter? Is she safe? Did she even hear the sirens? He thinks of Frau Müller. The Gestapo was asking about her this morning. Is she in danger? Will they arrest her? He thinks of his station, piece 283, unfinished. The quota will not be met. Will Kruger blame him? Will this affect his rations? These thoughts are absurd. The factory is being destroyed above him. People are dying, and Heinrich is worried about production quotas. But this is how you survive. You focus on what you can control. The rest is chaos. The bombing lasts 47 minutes. 47 minutes of explosions. 47 minutes of the earth shaking. 47 minutes of praying the ceiling holds. Then silence. Not true silence. Fires crackling. People moaning. Debris settling. But the bombs have stopped. No one moves. Not yet. Sometimes there is a second wave. Sometimes the bombers circle back. But the all-clear sounds, the long, steady tone that means it is over, for now. The shelter door opens. Light streams in, dust-filled air. People climb out slowly, blinking, coughing, alive. The factory is gone. Not completely, but gone enough. The western section is rubble and fire. The central section is partly collapsed. The eastern section where Heinrich worked is somehow still standing but damaged. Windows blown out. Roof caved in places. Machines visible through holes in the walls. Bodies lie in the yard. Some are covered with coats. Some are not covered. Some are in pieces. Heinrich counts, stops counting, starts again, stops. At least 50 dead. Maybe more. Maybe many more under the rubble. Kruger is alive. Appears from somewhere. His face is covered in dust and blood from a cut above his eye. But he is functioning, commanding. Line supervisors, account for your people. Medical teams to the western section. Fire crews to the foundry. Move. Heinrich finds Werner. Werner is alive. Shaken but alive. Your section? Werner asks. I do not know. I cannot see from here. They walk toward line 7, picking their way through debris, past overturned equipment, past things that used to be people. Line 7 is destroyed. The ceiling collapsed directly on it. Heinrich's lathe, the machine he has worked for 18 months, is buried under 3 tons of concrete and steel. If he had been standing there, if the sirens had not sounded, if he had been on piece 284 instead of running. Heinrich sits down. His legs will not hold him anymore. Werner sits beside him, says nothing. There is nothing to say. Around them, the factory burns. 4:30 in the afternoon. The fires are controlled but not out. The rescue teams are still digging. The body count is 117. Will rise. Kruger gathers the survivors, maybe 300 people, less than half the day shift. Production is suspended until further notice, Kruger announces. His voice is hoarse. Return to your homes. Report tomorrow at 600 hours for damage assessment and salvage operations. Anyone who fails to report will be considered a deserter. This is all. No mourning, no memorial, just orders. The workers disperse. Some have homes to return to, some do not. The bombing was not limited to the factory. The surrounding residential blocks were hit too. Heinrich starts walking south, toward Neukölln, toward his apartment, toward Greta. If the apartment is still there, if Greta is still there, the streets are chaos, rubble, fire crews, police, ambulances, crowds of displaced people wandering with blank expressions, children crying for parents, parents crying for children. Heinrich walks through it all, numb, moving automatically. At the first intersection, a checkpoint, not Gestapo, Wehrmacht, regular army soldiers managing the disaster. Papers. The soldier is young, exhausted, barely looks at Heinrich's documents, waves him through. 2 blocks further, a woman stops Heinrich, old, covered in dust, blood on her hands. Have you seen my husband? Otto Becker? He works at the postal depot? Heinrich shakes his head, keeps walking. He cannot help. He has his own people to find. The postal depot is gone. Heinrich sees it as he passes. Direct hit, nothing left. The old woman's husband is gone. She will search. She will not find him. Tomorrow she will search again. This is Berlin. This is what the city has become. Heinrich's building is still standing. He sees it from 2 streets away, and his knees nearly give out. The building is damaged, windows broken, part of the facade collapsed but standing. Still there. He runs the last 100 meters, bursts through the front door, takes the stairs 3 at a time. The apartment door is ajar. Heinrich's heart stops. He pushes the door open. Greta, the apartment is empty, but not ransacked, not destroyed, just empty. Greta's school books are on the table. Her coat is gone from the hook. The bread Heinrich left for her breakfast is untouched. She left. Before the bombing, went somewhere. Heinrich checks the neighbors, knocks on Frau Müller's door, no answer. Knocks on Herr Kessler's door, no answer. The entire floor is empty. Down to the cellar, the building's shelter. 20 people huddled in the dark. Frau Müller with her twins, Herr Kessler, the Rosenthals. Others Heinrich recognizes, but no Greta. Has anyone seen my daughter? Heinrich tries to keep his voice steady. Fails. Frau Müller shakes her head. She was not here during the raid. I am sorry, Heinrich. She was not here. Heinrich climbs back up, stands in the empty apartment, tries to think. Where would she go? School? Closed for weeks now, the building was bombed. Friends? Most of her friends have been evacuated to the countryside. The library? Destroyed in September. Where? The radio. Heinrich turns on the radio. Static. Then a voice. The emergency broadcast system. Casualties are being treated at Charité Hospital Augusta Victoria Hospital, and Sankt Gertrauden. Families searching for missing persons should report to the Rathaus in Neukölln or the emergency center at hospitals. She might be at a hospital. Heinrich leaves immediately. Does not lock the door. No time. The nearest hospital is Sankt Gertrauden, 3 kilometers. Heinrich runs. 5:43 in the evening. Heinrich has checked 2 hospitals. Charité, Sankt Gertrauden, walked through wards of injured and dying, looked at hundreds of faces, none of them Greta. The hospital staff are overwhelmed. They have lists, but the lists are incomplete. They have bodies, but many are unidentified. They have children separated from parents, and parents separated from children, and the chaos is absolute. Try the emergency center, one nurse suggests. Kindly, too kindly. The kindness of someone who has given this advice too many times today at the Rathaus. They are coordinating family reunification. The Rathaus is 4 kilometers from Sankt Gertrauden, in the opposite direction from Heinrich's apartment. It is now almost 6 in the evening. Curfew begins at 8. If Heinrich goes to the Rathaus and searches there, he will not make it home before curfew. Being out after curfew without authorization means arrest. But Greta is missing. Heinrich goes to the Rathaus. The building is surrounded by people, hundreds, all searching, all desperate. Boards have been erected with names written in chalk, lists of dead, lists of injured, lists of missing. Heinrich pushes through the crowd, scans the boards. His eyes catch on names: Becker, Otto, Müller, Hans, Schulz, Emma, Vogel. His heart stops. Vogel, Friedrich. Age 63, dead. Not Greta, a different Vogel. But for one terrible second, Heinrich cannot breathe. He continues searching. 3 boards, 4 boards, 5. No Greta. This is good news. She is not listed as dead, not listed as injured. Maybe she is safe. Maybe she is home right now. Maybe Heinrich has missed her somehow. He asks at the information desk. Vogel, Greta Vogel, 13 years old, dark hair, brown eyes. Have you seen her? The woman at the desk is frazzled, overwhelmed. She checks her lists. No Vogel, Greta. I am sorry. Can I leave my information? If she comes here? Yes. Fill out this form. Heinrich fills out the form. Name, address, description, relationship. He has done this twice already at the hospitals. Each time feels like admitting she is gone. But what else can he do? By the time Heinrich leaves the Rathaus, it is 7:15, 45 minutes until curfew. He runs. The streets are darker now. The sun has set. The blackout is in effect. No lights, no markers, just shadows and rubble and the fading glow of fires. Heinrich knows the way, has walked these streets for 2 years, but bombed streets are different. New craters, new debris, familiar landmarks gone. He takes a wrong turn, realizes it, backtracks, loses 5 minutes. 7:35. He hears a patrol. Wehrmacht. Their boots on cobblestones, their voices calling out, curfew in 25 minutes, clear the streets. Heinrich ducks into an alley, waits for them to pass, emerges, keeps moving. His building appears, same damaged facade, same broken windows, but there, still there. Heinrich climbs the stairs. His legs are rubber, his chest burns, but he climbs. The apartment door is still ajar, exactly as he left it. Inside, darkness. Heinrich lights a candle. The electricity is out. The apartment is exactly as it was, empty, cold, waiting. Greta is not here. Heinrich stands in the middle of the small room, holds the candle, tries to think. Where else can he search? He has checked hospitals. He has checked the emergency center. The neighbors have not seen her. The building shelter was empty of her. Where does a 13-year-old girl go during an air raid? And then Heinrich remembers. The roof. Greta likes to watch from the roof. He has told her 1,000 times not to, but she does it anyway. The roof. Heinrich climbs, takes the candle, counts the stairs again, 42. The roof door is stuck. He shoulders it open. The roof is empty, just as it was this morning, just as it always is. Except, in the far corner, something dark, a shape. Heinrich crosses the roof, holds up the candle. Greta. She is sitting with her back against the chimney, her arms wrapped around her knees, her face buried, not moving. Greta. She looks up. Her face is streaked with tears and soot. Her eyes are red, but she is alive. She is here. She is whole. Papa. Heinrich drops to his knees, pulls her into his arms, holds her. She is shaking, sobbing, alive. I thought you were dead, Greta whispers. The factory. They said the factory was bombed. They said everyone died. I thought. I am here. I am alive. I am here. They hold each other on the roof while Berlin burns around them. 8:30 in the evening. They are back in the apartment, past curfew, but inside, safe, together. Heinrich has lit 3 candles, extravagant, but tonight he does not care. Greta sits at the small table. Heinrich has given her the last of the bread, his portion. She protested. He insisted. She is eating now, slowly, still shaking. I went to the roof, Greta explains between bites. I wanted to see. I know you told me not to, but I wanted to see the city. And then the sirens started, and I was already on the roof, and I thought if I ran down, I would not make it to the shelter. So I stayed. I hid behind the chimney. And the bombs, Papa, the bombs? Heinrich nods. I know. I saw them fall, saw the factory, saw the fires, and I thought you were there. I thought you were dead, and I could not move. I just sat. I sat, and I cried, and I waited, and then you came. I will always come back, Heinrich says. Knows this might be a lie, but says it anyway. Always. They sit in silence. The candles flicker. Outside, Berlin is dark and broken and burning in places. But in this small room, there is light, there is warmth, there is a father and daughter together. What happens now? Greta asks. Heinrich does not know. The factory is destroyed. Production is suspended. Will they rebuild? Will they be reassigned? Will Heinrich still have a job? Will they still have ration cards? The war continues. The bombs will continue. Tomorrow will bring new horrors. And the day after, and the day after that. But tonight, Greta is alive. Heinrich is alive. That is enough. Tomorrow, Heinrich says, I report to the factory. They will tell us what happens. But tonight, we rest. Are you scared, Papa? Heinrich considers lying, decides against it. Yes, every day. But being scared does not mean giving up. How much longer? Greta's question is simple. The answer is impossible. I do not know. But we will survive, day by day. That is all anyone can do. Greta finishes the bread. Heinrich tucks her into bed, pulls the thin blanket up to her chin, brushes her hair back from her forehead. Papa? Yes? I love you. I love you too. Heinrich sits by the candles, watches them burn, thinks about the day, the bombs, the bodies, the destroyed factory, the impossible search, the moment of finding Greta on the roof. This is November 17th, 1943. This is one day in one life, in one city, in a war that has consumed the world. Tomorrow, Heinrich will return to the ruins of the factory. He will salvage what can be salvaged. He will report for duty. He will follow orders. He will produce whatever they tell him to produce. Because what else can he do? The war will not stop because Heinrich Vogel is tired. The bombs will not stop because he has a daughter to protect. The Reich will not care that he is scared and exhausted and running out of hope. So he will do what he has always done: wake at 4 in the morning, eat thin bread, walk through dangerous streets, work until his body breaks, return home, hold his daughter, sleep, wake, begin again. This is survival. Not heroic, not noble, just survival. The candles burn lower. Heinrich blows them out, saves them for another night, another crisis. There will always be another crisis. He lies down on his narrow cot, listens to Greta breathing in the darkness, that sound, that precious sound that tells him she is alive. Tomorrow will bring new horrors, but tonight, in this moment, they are together. They are alive. They have survived one more day. In Berlin, in November, in 1943, that is victory enough. The city sleeps, the fires burn, the war grinds on. And in apartment 3A, on the 3rd floor of a damaged building in Neukölln, Heinrich Vogel closes his eyes and tries to rest before the next day begins.